Good morning. I'd like to welcome all of you to Athens. My name is Gregory Papanikos. I'm the president of this World Association of Academics and Researchers. Just to give you a feeling, we have more than 2,000 members coming from 115 different countries, and very few are affiliated with Greek institutes. So we are truly an international association. Last year, about the same time, everybody was talking about Brexit. Now, and of course, in Greece, we don't take very seriously the Greek politicians. Now we're talking about Brexit. And who knows next year who's going to be in or out. And of course, last year in Greece, nobody believed, irrespective of the referendum, that Greece will be pulled out from the EU or from the Eurozone. And I think the British, they learned from Greeks, and they have some second thought, if I believe BBC. But it reminds me, the British, they are not members of the Euro, of course, and they're really a very strange type of nation. And reminds me of a joke. You know, a monk went to a new monk, went to the monastery. I don't know if you know that joke. And in that monastery, every 5 years, you had a meeting with the head of the monastery. And you were allowed to say only 2 words. So 5 years passed by, and the new monk went to the head and said, look, bad food. So the head said, okay, thank you very much. Another 5 years passed by, and then he says, bad debt. And the kid said the head, and then another 5 years passed by, I say, I'm leaving. And then the head said, no surprise. Every time, you know, ever since you came here, you've been complaining. So that's the same thing with the British. Ever since they joined the European Union in the 1970s, they've been complaining. And the thing is that I said to someone, they want to tear apart the European Union, but I'm scared that they're going to tear apart the United Kingdom, because Scotland wants to pull out and remains in the European Union. Anyway, that's politics, but we like that. We like, especially in Greece, we live with that since antiquity. Some people say we invented democracy, but along with democracy goes chaos and anarchy, another 2 of us. So you have to find out whether these 3 things are related. And I'm saying that because our idea of the Athens Institute goes back 2,500 years, where Pericles, trying to boost up the ego of Athenians, at least as Thucydides writes, he says this city is open to the world, so people can come, see and learn. So that's the purpose of the Athens Institute. It's an association that people, academics from all over the world, can come and discuss the current and future developments of their discipline. And of course, you cannot do that without freedom. This is the prerequisite. So people here can come and say, including myself, of course, their own opinion. They are entitled to say whatever they think. And I'm entitled to disagree with them without any repercussion. And most of the times I do. I'm outvoted. But still, I can go on in an environment of freedom to support my ideas. Who knows, after 500 years, my ideas will become dominant ones. Nobody will be around, of course, to say yes or no. Something else that is very important for us is, unfortunately, we were forced 20 years ago when we established this association in Canada, we were forced to use the English language. We use it because it's an international language now. It's like ancient Greek in Hellenistic period, and of course nobody knows ancient Greek anymore, and we cannot use it as a language of communication. This does not imply that we accept any political, social, cultural, or whatever political connotation might be implied by the use of the English language. There is a second part to that. A lot of people here, believe it or not, they speak another language apart from English. I mean, it surprised you, but their mother tongue was not English. And they don't want to change their language. But unfortunately, they have to speak in English. But for understandable English, the communication with other science and academics. So it's very important for the participants to understand that and respect that in case that someone has difficulties in communicating in English language. Now, as I say in many opening remarks that I have made over the years, we are improvists and not perfectionists. Usually perfectionists are the people that they don't do anything because they are waiting until the perfect thing comes and they die, and of course they leave nothing to show. We're improving. And someone joking to me said, of course, since you start so low, the only way is to improve. This is true as well. But we're improving. And this includes everything that we are doing. And without any oscillation, usually it's a linear trend. We're improving because we allow everybody that wants to help us to join us. And of course, they have to accept our mission and our policies. They change, but they don't change in the middle of the game, as we say. So our missions are there, our policies are there. Of course, you can say that I have a different opinion. We can change it, but not during today and tomorrow, because then it's a chaos, it's an anarchy. Everybody will do whatever he or she pleases to do. Now, so this is very important to follow rules. It's very difficult when we say in Athens, to follow rules and discipline, but we have been successful in the last 20 years. And talking about improvement, you are invited to help us improve. And I'll tell you some areas that we can do. You don't have to be in Athens. First, we need people that are old enough, do not meet impact factors, to help us with either improving our publications or our review process. Fortunately or unfortunately, 2 or 3 years ago, we started some 15 e-journals. And we like to improve on them. We like these journals to become good ones for 2 reasons. First, because we have a lot of papers. This year we have more than 2,000 papers submitted for the 15 publications. And we have to select 300. Right away we have an acceptance rate, 15%. That's a miserable representation, actually, because maybe all 2,000 papers, they're not worth publishing. So saying that it's 15% doesn't mean anything. But that's the second challenge. The second challenge is to improve the review process and, of course, the quality of the paper submitted. And over the 2 or 3 years, I think we have succeeded. Thanks to you, we have now more than 6,000 reviewers to choose from 150. I have their names. It's in my computer. 6,000 people have volunteered, because there's no money, have volunteered, because I'm making it straightforward, there's no money. Now, there are 6,000 who give these certificates, even not printed one, because we're screwed. We don't have the money to print it, but we give it sent to you, and then you can print it in papyrus or whatever, in gold, whatever you want, and put it on, on the wall in your office, so people can see that you've been awarded this grand thing from the Athens Institute for Education, we said. And I want to say something else. And we are trying to, we've been criticized for a number of things, and we take criticism very serious. One of the criticisms is that we lie when we say that we are an institute. This is true. We are not an institute, we're an association. Of course, on the website, we repeat this word association 5 or 6 times. But the title remains an institute. There is a good reason for that. I was against that, but I was forced to accept it when we had the first meeting in Toronto. The reason is that there are some many people that they want to come to Greece and do sabbatical. And if you call yourself association, that's what they said, it's very difficult to get permission from their university. So we have people come and do sabbatical, we provide them with an office space because it's very difficult to get even access to the Greek state university system. You send them an email and they respond one day before your sabbatical finishes. And so that's the response rate. Now, it can be even worse, it's after your sabbatical. But as I say, this is the reason why we call them. And second, especially for the European partners, European members, many European members, and of course, I should say that many members or friends took advantage of that. And the second issue that relates to the name is funding. A lot of academics and friends from the European Union, because they want to waste European taxpayers' money, they apply for funding. And in order to get the funding, you have to have partners from all Europe. Maybe people outside Europe don't understand that. But there's a search and finding partners, institutes from different countries, so they can participate in a common submission proposal. And of course, an association is not good. You need to have an institute. Just to make the long story short, a couple of years ago, one of the best institutes in Europe, the Institute of Education of the University of London, asked us, as being the best institute, I don't believe, in Greece, that to be a partner in a proposal that they made because they could not find anybody else. That was, I mean, they didn't say that, but I knew that. And of course we say yes, 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 yes. And we got the project. And even we had a meeting here and still we are on that website. I don't take it serious because our mission is different. Our mission is to make Athens a meeting place and not become a teaching institute or a research institute or a publication institute. I think there are other institutes around the world that they do and they can do much better job than we do. So, but still, since we get into this business, so to speak, as a secondary objective, I think we can satisfy that. I finished. Usually, Professor Poulos, our vice president, will do the formal and more serious, if you want, presentation of our association institute. But before that, since a lot of people, especially from North America, they love to complain when they come to Athens. So they see that the center of the world is the Anglo-Saxon world. So whatever is different from that, deviates from that, it should be an anomaly. It should be something that, unthinkable, ineffective, inefficient, not democratic, non-competitive, whatever term you want to use. These people, they start complaining from minute one. So for those people, Olga, she will be around all day long, and she has been trained to accept complaints. Don't come to me for complaining, I'm not trained. So she will be around to help you, in other words, with whatever problems you might have. There is nothing that we cannot solve in terms of programs, for example. We're very flexible. If you miss a plane, still you can be rescheduled. And some people even they use that social media under panic and say, I'm not going to be there on Monday morning. Because this is not the important thing. Olga will be around during the Greek night as well. She will lead the way to the Greek night at some time, 8:15, I think, in the lobby. And of course, the Greek night starts at 9 o'clock, and you can be there. You have a piece of information you will see with all our social activities. Just to make a note that social activities, I mean, I'm lying, but it's a good lie. The groups and the Delphi, they are not entertainment. They are a continuous of the educational experience that you get from the first and second day. You see how good I rehearsed. Now, so this is the idea. And I had a guy from, I don't want to mention the country, an Asian guy, because they cannot get funding, because I know here one of 95% of the people come here because they've been financed from an outside source. And of course they write off expenses. Nothing wrong with that. But he gave me a very good idea about cruise and Delta. Maybe to justify the 4 days, we can have a lecture there during the cruise and during the Delphi, which is not a bad idea to put in the program that some lecture will take place and invite some people to say during the cruise, because you have some slack time, 1 hour or something. So then you can say the conference is for 4 days and you will get all the per dime and all the hotel accommodation. He suggested, I say, do that, and then we can get financing for the 4 days. It's not a bad idea at all. Now, in any case, Olga will be around, up and down, and you will see that we organize many events. There are many doors that are all ours, the rooms. You can go in and see different disciplines, because we want to, we do that because we want to mainly solve the old problem of Aristotle. You know the crime that Aristotle did to sciences? He divided into different fields. And now if he did it for pedagogical purposes, nothing wrong with that. So you learn better chemistry, physics, history, or whatever, ethics. But unfortunately, as the sciences have grown up, they have been so separated that they use completely different methodologies to study the same thing. Most of them human behavior, and of course natural environment. So we try to solve by bringing sciences together and force scientists with some tricks that we are doing to get together. And there are various rooms here, and go in, you don't have to pay extra fee to listen to what other people say, historians, for example. They have many things to say, and you can learn. Thank you very much. I invite Professor Poulos to make a more formal presentation of our institute.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. From myself, on behalf of the Athens Institute for Education and Research, Atiner for short, I'd like to welcome you to Athens, to this conference. I'm just going to start off by saying a few words about Atiner. Atiner was established in 1995, and its mission is to act as a forum where academics and researchers from all over the world can come together in this historic cradle of democracy, in order to exchange ideas on their research, to interact with each other, and to discuss future developments in their disciplines, in an environment of respect for each other's opinions and beliefs. After all, the free expression of one's opinion formed the basis for the development of democracy. And as it turned out, the golden age of Athens was in fact the golden age of Western civilization. Education and searching or researching the truth are the pillars of any free democratic society. And this is the reason why education and research are the two core words in Athens' name. It's Athens' mission to revive the glory of ancient Athens by inviting the world academic community to the city. Over 95% of our members are from institutions outside Greece, and our conferences are designed in such a way as to cater mainly for foreign academics. The basic activities of Atiner include, firstly, the organizing and hosting of international conferences and symposiums such as this one. Secondly, the carrying out of research. And thirdly, the production of various publications. These are the few cornerstones that drive the Institute, so to speak. And as you'll note, in the course of this conference, cross-discipline sessions have also been arranged to address and accommodate the importance of interdisciplinary research in this globalized world that we live in. Since 1995, Atiner has organized more than 400 international conferences and other events, and has published close to 200 books. Atiner has also organized numerous roundtable discussions and public speeches on topical issues. And you'll find more information on this on Atiner's website. The Institute is also currently involved in an ambitious project regarding the proposed establishment of an academic village. The aim is to establish a community of research scholars and academics such as yourselves. And the proposed village would include a conference center, living facilities, as well as facilities for research and recreation. And you'll find more information on this in your file. Now, turning to today's formal activities, you should each have a program by now. You'll note that in some instances there may be parallel sessions, and of course you'll choose which session to go to. Please note, and this is important, that each presentation is limited to 15 minutes. The chairpersons will keep time and will use the 3 and 1 minute reminder cards. And I'd like to ask the chairs to adhere strictly to the time constraints. Please allow for questions and discussion after all the papers have been presented and not after each paper. The chairpersons must fill out the report forms that they'll be receiving. This is important because the final program will be based on the chairperson's reports. Should you need to make use of technical facilities in your presentation, please confirm that everything is in order before the session begins and not during the session. There will always be someone from the admin staff to help you in this regard. And of course, there will also be a coffee break between sessions. You should also consult the social program on a much lighter note. There's the Greek night tonight, which is to be recommended. Apart from Greek cuisine, there will be lots of Greek music and dancing, and of course you can join if you like. And then there's the formal dinner tomorrow night. These are private events that are organized by Atiner exclusively for conference delegates and their accompanying persons. Then there's the urban walk tomorrow, followed by the cruise to selected islands on Wednesday, and a visit to the ancient site on Thursday. Now, I'm going to say a few words on publications. The Institute is involved with various publications. Firstly, there are the abstracts which are published. We're well aware that some institutions in the world treat abstracts as formal publications. They have their own ISBN number and can, of course, be cited. Secondly, the papers that are presented at the conference are placed on the web as part of an online paper series. Once the editing of the papers has been attended to, they will have their own ISSN number and of course can also be cited. The purpose of this publication series is to firstly disseminate information in your paper as quickly as possible, and secondly to allow for feedback in case you wish to make amendments before you submit your paper for publication in a book. Now, with regard to book publications, you'll receive an email soon after the conference asking you for a final draft for publication consideration and any other information that may be relevant. And all papers that are submitted will go through a referee process before they are considered for publication in the book. And then finally, Atiner also has its own journal series, which commenced in 2014. We currently have 15 journals which cover various disciplines, including yours. Papers submitted for the journals go through a double-blind peer review process, which is monitored by the editorial board, and our acceptance rate is less than 25%. Atiner does not charge any processing or publication fee. Right, on the issue of collaboration, we at Atiner would also like to collaborate with other institutions, such as the ones that you're associated with. Academics, researchers, and institutes are invited to collaborate with our institute on research and education projects. If you're not yet a member of the institute, we would like you to join to assist with the editing and reviewing of papers. You're also encouraged to collaborate at future conferences by submitting proposals for special panel discussions on a theme related to your own specific research. Academics and researchers interested in your theme will then be invited by us to participate in the special panel discussion which you yourself can chair. You also have a visiting fellow, visiting researcher program, and for more information on this, you can also visit Athiner's website. Well, finally, colleagues, that is clear from the program, you've come from so many different countries. We at Atiner sincerely hope that you will make the most of this opportunity to interact with each other, that you'll enjoy this conference, and that you'll go back home with fond memories, not only of the conference, but of Athens and Greece as well. Of course, most of all, we'll want you to come back to future conferences, enjoy the conference, and you can now go to the various venues that are stipulated in your program, and we'll start with the next session. The chairpersons, please make sure that you will be as well. Thank you very much.